I would like to actually dive deeper into the family business. So, h- can you maybe shape a little bit of the story of how you first entered it, and then maybe the history of the family business as well?
I think long time ago it's the time that it still was not called a startup
Yeah.
because the startup name is very thing, and we create a company for recycling bottles of water, and from that it came a second company that creates with the protocol of recycling flooring systems, and we create flooring that we sell created with recycled material.
So you were selling the bottles and the flooring?
Was with bottles and with the covering of the cables. Then it was several recyclings, and with this recycled material we were producing.
And who came up with it?
It was an idea of my father. Then I was the guy on the back selling and doing the marketing.
So you joined at 18 years old, or how did it
No,
start?
before I worked in another corporation, but I was around 26 or 25. Yeah.
So, and to give context for the listener, so what year was this all happening?
Oof, long time ago. Let's say it this way, a long time ago. I even don't remember.
I think I saw the 90s or something.
Could
correct?
be something like that. Yes.
So you're working, because I think at that point you just graduated, and then you worked at this corporation, and then your dad just comes to you and says, "Hey, I need your help," or
Yeah.
what happens exactly?
Yeah, he was creating that company and he needed help, and it was opportunity.
So usually my experiences with family business is, again, that's me. I spend 3 days and then I need a break. So what is your perception like?
I think that's real. I think it's nice to work with families. Sometimes it's good to work abroad the family, and you need to demonstrate yourself. One of the reasons that I was out is that because I need to think for myself that I can do things outside. But it's also important, and I think I could be more years there because we create two companies. Each one was in one company, and then let us a space.
And how did the growth go once you joined in?
The growth was really good. Uh, w- I think the challenges you have when you create a company, it's always the same. Is you have to have a good quality, you have to have a good finance, and this kind of things is what is tough when you create a company.
So let's dive like a little bit deeper into that, because to me that's very broad. Like you have to have good finances, good quality. How did you know the quality was good? How did you make sure the finances were good?
I think the first thing you have to think is that the years that we're speaking doesn't exist, the VCs and these kind of things. This is something that came much later, and means finance-wise, what you need is all business that you create. Almost, I cannot tell all, but main of the business that is a creation, they have some years that they need a cash flow negative to create the business. Then you have to be covered on that. And on the other side, quality-wise, is I think we all know what is an MVP. We all know what, but sometimes there's a minimum that you need to be able to launch things properly.
So
And sometimes you make mistakes.
can you give an example of?
No, for example, in the company we make some mistakes on the quality. It was a good product, but sometimes was not giving the right standards, and this make you learn.
How did you know? Like, was it
When
client?
customers are not are happy, that's the main indicator of any business, I think.
So how did you track that customers were not happy? Because nowadays there are reviews online, but back then there were no reviews.
I think in marketing, in sales, nothing is invented, always the same. If you go much years before I was born, it was the shop in the small village, and that guy knows everybody was happy or not, knows all the gossips, knows everything. Then things that has changed with the time is the way and the reach. Nowadays, anything is in a second, there is a review. But a long time ago also was the option to listen customers, to speak with customers. It was much more complicated.
So you would call them up, or
You call them up, you follow up. If you really focus on customers, you do it. That's in the internet era or the before internet era.
If you liked this episode, you can check out our most recent one here. And if you haven't already, make sure you click here to subscribe and see the next one. But if you're interested in more tips and tricks, then make sure to join our Facebook group where you can find thousands of like-minded people and you get direct access and support to any business question from the entire Startup Funding Event team.